Good morning, guys. It's Chris from daxtrader.co.uk. It is Monday, the 18th of September 2017. So we're going to look at the Dax Technical Analysis. We've just completed the webinar. If you want to come and join the webinars, then we normally hold them between sort of 8 and half 9, depending on who's doing it. And to get the link to that, you'll need to join the Dax Trader broadcast channel. So click the link at the bottom of this video if you're watching it on YouTube. Come to the website, daxtrader.co.uk. You can register a free account to access the articles every day. And if you want to get involved with the community chat room and the live room and the journal and get signals as well, then you'll need to register as a premium member. And to do that, just simply click on register at the top right. Share the articles on social media. That'll be great. Come and join us on Twitter and Facebook and all of that stuff. That'd be great to get in contact with you guys. Excuse me. All right, so let's get started then. So we had a gap open this morning from the weekend, and we've gapped open about 40 points, which has left open this opportunity to scalp short. If you wanted to do that, probably won't do that myself. We're going to start with the TPO and just take a quick look at some of the naked levels that are available, move on to the daily chart, and then the lower time frames as well. Before we get started, trading financial markets is risky. It involves the risk of losing our invested money. The webinars are provided for educational purposes only. No investment advice is provided. If you decide to enter a trade off the back of any of these webinars or videos, then please do so entirely at your own risk. Okay, last reminder, if you are watching this, just remember that your cameras might be turned on, so just don't do anything silly. Okay, so on the TPO then, we had a consolidation area from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of last week. We were in a kind of 100-point range, and we have broken about through the top of that with a gap this morning, which indicates further strength. The mistake that I've made recently is waiting for a pullback. Probably isn't a mistake, but that's what I've done. That's a choice that I've made, and as a result, means that I haven't really had that many positions at all open. The ones that I have had open have actually been shorts, counter trend, to sell the market. But I'd really be looking for an opportunity to get long if we got the right price. As far as the naked points of controls go, we took out this one here that's been long-standing for some time with room to that left. We took that out this morning on the gap. Next one above us is at around about the 12,780 level from way back here in June. So that's an interesting level. As far as value areas go, just eyeballing this chart, I mean, you've got this little area here, this potential area that price might look to rotate to on the way up to those targets. Okay, it could find some resistance there, just simply because buyers and sellers are happy to do business there in the past. And we're looking to move to the next value area, and that looks to be one. So mark that out on the charts. On the daily chart, we've still got a fork here. It has been there since August with my A, B, and C point. We had a bit of a debate in the webinar earlier about why have I marked the fork out here and not used that low point down there. And the simple answer was that it was drawn in August and I haven't changed it. But then to sort of dig a little bit deeper into why have I not moved it now, and I think just the answer is because I still like the way that it's catching price action. I like the fact that the BC line was capturing the trajectory of the move. I like how the A line is cutting through price action here, through the middle of this kind of zigzag area, and it is closer to catching a touch on the way through. So it's just preference. It's subjective. You can draw your own forks. If you want to move it, then that's obviously fine. I drew a sliding parallel on this fork here, which is underneath at 125, so 25% lower. And it caught the tail of that large candle there. If we use the current fork as it is, then looking at target area of the median line. And that is still going to be my long-standing target area. Okay, so clearly bullish. If you're selling the market at the moment, doesn't look like you're on the right side. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with it. Okay, so for the last few days, certainly the last 4 or 5 days, I've been looking at this particular chart thinking to myself, we've got various levels of resistance here, opportunity to fade this market short, just simply because we're selling into to resistance. We had 4 or 5 different levels. It looks to me now that those levels are, I'm just actually going to press delete on a few of them. I have my P levels in there for the wave, but yet we've now broken to another high, so I think they're ready to complete. So I'm just going to tidy this one up, because that idea now, I actually keep that ACR line there, which I've just deleted by accident. And just tidy up a few of these bits. I'm going to remove the different levels that we had, and I'm just going to keep it to that. Now we've gapped above the resistance lines, which is really, really quite a strong, it was to show a strength. So very, very difficult to be selling this market at the moment with that kind of momentum. Not much more to say on this one other than watch for a touch of this, because you'd imagine the price is going to come back to test this area at some point. And once it does, it may offer an opportunity to get long. Certainly looks interesting to me. Okay. Not a lot to say on the 4-hour chart that I haven't already just mentioned on the previous one, and the daily chart. So actually, I'm going to just minimize that one down and move on. Let's go and take a look at the 500 tick chart. A couple of things on here. It looks a bit busy. I've got a zigzag study. Should be standard with many charting platforms. Haven't changed the settings. And I pulled an ACR line here from my last swing broke pivot back there. My second point was this high here, and my third point was that low there. Provided me with a couple of parallels, got an ACR, so action line at the bottom, center line in the middle, reaction line at the top, and that's a kind of a target area. That's a setup that interests me at the moment. It looks at around about 7-to-1 reward to risk. It assumes that we get a pullback through the gap, find support at the bottom of that gap, don't break the low from Friday, and then build up towards testing this reaction line. If it's a set and forget type setup, it's low probability, which is why I need such a high reward to risk ratio. At 7-to-1, I need it to be successful 12.5% of the time to break even. Just based on the fact that we're in this kind of bullish wave. The pullbacks that we've seen so far have been relatively small. I like the idea of it fitting within that, and I'll put that in my trading plan. So that's one idea that I have. There are a few others, which we're going to go through in the premium channel with the guys as well. And as for the 50, is this a 50 tick chart? Wow. Okay, I might just take that to 100. So on the 100 tick chart, not really that much to say. Otherwise, we're trading sideways. We're inside the deviation bands. We're still above the gap. We are staying below VWAP at the moment, and we're inside the initial balance of the opening single hour and double hour. So 7 till 8 and 7 till 9 initial balance. We're inside that. So you could draw a box around that and trade a break, but I don't really see any opportunity to do that other than potentially this one here, which would be to look to take a long on the test of the deviation low, assuming that it does not break and zoom this gap. Because, of course, two things will happen at a gap. Price is not going to want to trade in that area, so it's either going to zoom straight through it, or it's going to be rejected, or be rejected by it. And so I put a stop loss in, just assuming that it might pierce it by a few points or so. It's just an idea. I don't know if I'm going to take that trade, but it's nearly 7-to-1 as well. Looks interesting. Why have I chosen that as a target? It was just based on the fact that it could be a balance area based on this low. Excuse me. Take a Fibonacci retracement tool. But you're probably going to need to reduce that. Put the 50% point at the bottom of the gap, or top of the gap, should I say. And that's an area. Don't know if I like that trade. I don't know if that's got the success rate that I'd need to have the edge. And that's it. There you have it. So as far as bias goes, probably thrown aside the ideas of short in the market at the moment. There's no point in trading counter trend at this stage when it's so strongly bullish. Just looking for entries to get long if there are opportunities, and we'll continue to ride it until it reverses. Best setup was on the 500 tick chart. Just rewind the video to go and find that, and we'll leave it there for today for the DAX. FTSE looks interesting. Got some gold opportunities as well, and of course the crypto world is green again. Thursday and Friday looked like it was the end of the world. A lot of people were throwing a lot of negativity, fear and uncertainty and doubt towards the crypto world, just simply because Jamie Dimon came out and said that Bitcoin is a fraud. Well, of course he's going to say that. I mean, come on, it doesn't take a genius to realize that one of the heads of the biggest banks is under threat from something that's actually in direct competition to the services that they're offering. Of course, they're going to come out and try and defame it, but they're also in creation of their own. They're using Ethereum to build their own cryptocurrency. So what he said was that Bitcoin is a fraud, not cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. He wants to completely smear that to then establish their own one as the kind of go-to. It's ridiculous. I mean, the guy knows how to get himself in the press. He talks absolute crap. I don't agree with anything he ever says. So, yeah, it's just my opinion. But I was expecting Bitcoin to actually pull back a lot further than it has. So this might not be finished yet, but we'll see. Had a cheeky floating order to buy a Bitcoin at $1,500, but I don't think I'm going to get there. But I did increase my Litecoin holding, and I used the rest of the balance of dollars to buy RRT at around about 10 cents. So I've almost doubled my $5. Woo! And the portfolio is at 455, up from 380, I think we got down to on Thursday and Friday. So, you know, swings and lows. Swings are commonplace in this market. It's very, very volatile. It's not for everybody, but if you are a currency trader, then clearly it makes sense to study this stuff, guys. And that's it. So if you want to get hold of me, contact me on Twitter. You contact me on Telegram. The links are in the bottom. Come and join the community and send us an email if you want any more information. Have a great trading day, and we will be back again in the morning. Take care.